welcome to the show. Will Roberts, of course. I'm your host, actor host, because I'm reading the bottom of the screen. It says actor host. If it said barista, I'd probably say it, but that will never happen. Anyway, I will tell you, as a professional actor of 40 years, I did once. I was a waiter once, and I actually do mean once, because I quickly wound up becoming the host. A very nice restaurant called the Rio Grill in like Carmel, California. Really, really nice. And the owner came up to me and he goes, "We love you, you know." And I go, "I know." He goes, "But you know you're not a waiter." I'm like, "No." He goes, "They love when you come up to the table because you're like, 'Hey, what's happening?' I'm spinning something and how's it going?" And everybody's having a great time, but unfortunately people do need to get their meals. So I am definitely not that dude. So I made the commitment very early on in my career that I wasn't going to be an actor slash waiter ever. So that's why I've spent my life learning how to shoot, edit, do all the different things, live stream, because, hey, look, you don't want me serving you your food unless it's fast food, which would never happen as well. Hey, welcome to the show. Very exciting show today. And it is, I go tomorrow, by the way, to a rodeo in Wickenburg, Arizona. Love Wickenburg. I actually been doing it for several years. If you're on my Instagram, you need to click the link on my bio to watch the live stream and interact. My guest today, I'm very excited. She's been on the show before, but I'm considering her a show friend, a friend of the show. And she is international. I'm very excited about this. I'm not going to tell you right now who it is. I'm going to show a trailer in just a second, but let's talk acting. I kind of thought that, by the way, I thought that this year was going to be a little bit more steamrolling and moving and grooving. And I got to be honest with you, and tell me if you have this frustration too. You can see us, by the way, on live stream, of course, on filmfestivallive.com. But tell me if you feel this too. It could be because I'm impatient, but no one's getting back to me. I send things out. People say, "Let's do stuff together." I'm great. That sounds good. I'm about to get a Blackmagic 4K from a good friend of mine, Michael Pfeiffer, who's a director I've done a small handful of films with, and he had it for sale, and I'm like, cool. I have my GH5, so I've got a lot of cameras, and they're all rigged up with my monitors, my what's the name of that monitor? Ninja Flame. Exciting stuff. If you know anything about, equipment, which you should as an actor, I don't give a shit if it's just your phone. 13 Pro Max, because this shoots cinema. It's pretty awesome. You should know this because this is not 1985, and you're not shouldn't be depending on other people to make your stuff. You should be making your own career. And with that being said, click on the link to check it. Hey, what's up, buddy? Click on the show. I've got a great guest, another international guest, just like you were. Anyway, so all I'm saying is that so I'm going to a rodeo. I'll be doing some live stream stuff there because I'm doing my roping and guns and whips and so on. And there it is. Without further ado, I'm going to get into the show because I know she has a lot to do. A very international woman. She is. I'm blown away the first time I met her on the show, mainly because, all the things that she has done. You would think she's 105. She's certainly not 105. And she's done a lot of stuff. And recently, I decided, I said, hey, come back on the show, because she was in India. And I've spent a little time in there, Mumbai, India, doing a show called, a film called ABCD2, which, if you know anything about Bollywood films, it's probably one of the top grossing films. In any case, she was there for a while recently to receive awards, which she should be. And so let me show you something. Let me show you a trailer. Check this out from a film that she has that is out.
بکن آقا خواهش میکنم.
هنوز چشه؟
همین در واقع باکرگی حنا رو ثابت میکنه. It's your wedding. So happy for you. I got this for you. It's so good.
Yeah, شوف burgundy. You are so beautiful. I like the color. I like the
2 million views. See, where you blew up, you also did something that gets a lot of people killed.
Miriam, welcome to the show. Welcome back again to the show.
Hi everyone. Hi Will. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, you too. I have to say that I've watched this trailer a bunch, and I keep saying to myself, because you told me there's going to be a showing here in Los Angeles. You are in Los Angeles, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, come on already. I want to see this film. Uh, and you have really been doing a lot of stuff lately and kind of internationally flying around doing your thing. First of all, how has it been when you're in India? How was it?
It was wonderful. The festival experience was amazing.
I bet.
And as a filmmaker, I want to go inside people in different places. This part of experience was wonderful as well.
Yeah. Um, Traveling, how was that? I mean, with all the COVID and stuff going on, and was it okay?
Yeah, I'm not a picky person,
Yeah.
It's easy for me.
Yeah.
And on my way, I was beside two gentlemen with an amazing job.
Good.
I had to write those stories, and on the journey to India, I couldn't feel the time because I spent my time writing their stories.
Yeah.
But on the way back, I didn't get COVID, but all other viruses.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. I know you told me that when you sent me a message. I'm like, oh wow, well that's good. One thing I want to ask you is that this film is considered a foreign film. You shot some of it in L.A., Los Angeles. I know a lot of people are going to be asking. And by the way, we're open, folks. If you have any questions, and you can see, I'm going to put your Instagram a little bit farther down. Oh, that's pretty big. I'm gonna put it right here. Let's make it a little bit smaller so people can see it and log on to see you. Um, you're moving into the U.S. market, and you are working on stuff to do in the United States. Is that part of the dream and part of the journey and the path that you have wanted to take?
You mean about this feature film or
In
my whole journey?
general, in general.
Oh, usually I find an idea, I work on the idea, then I find the way I want to tell it, like feature film or feature documentary or a TV show or whatever. If I make it in the best way, it finds the way to go on a journey, which is a non-stop journey and no one can stop us. But usually when I do something in this way, many good things happen, right? I wanted to start, for this movie, I wanted to start with a very specific place that people get connected to it.
Oh,
And
okay.
India was the place for it. I understood it in my first screening in India, in Jaipur. I was there in Jaipur, Rajasthan. In the screening theater, we had to obey the law, and we had to have one seat free, and then 50% of the theater. But you know what? At the back seats, people came in and they stayed all the time and watched my film. And after that, I received amazing feedbacks because they got connected to the story because this is their story as well.
Sure, absolutely. And so when you say you got feedback, I mean it's produced. what kind of feedback did you get? Did you get, well, I wish that you would have, I mean, give me some of the stuff you got. I mean, obviously you got accolades because you were there to get awards, and people don't really go halfway across the world. By the way, because I was in Mumbai, I know that flight, and it's not a short one. It's a very long flight. But what kind of things, if you don't mind me asking, what kind of things were they saying about it?
Yeah. Um, our public audience, they love the story, they love the performances, and they had some questions about, oh, in Persian culture something like this exists, or what if you immigrate to United States, these public questions, which is very good for me,
Yeah,
because it means that I did something that to make their mind busy with the story.
right.
But the people who are filmmakers, and they came from different parts of this world, they had questions about making films here. How could I make films with 8 different countries crew on set?
Wow.
Because it's from language barrier to cultural things,
Yeah,
and um, filming language is really different, in a professional way.
yeah,
Most of the questions were about that, and also the performances, because to have a superstar from Iran in front of a superstar from Hollywood, in front of a person from Greek or
yeah.
Egypt, and the outcome, all of them liked, and I received wonderful feedbacks for those comedy parts that I assigned in the whole story. They all loved those comedy parts as well.
One of the things you're saying to me makes me wonder how many languages do you speak?
Two:
Okay, all right. What are they?
Persian and English.
I was just checking. I'm just checking. Yeah, I'll tell you, it is a different. Interesting is you brought an international film to India because again, I've filmed there, and I've actually done 2 films in India, and it is a tremendously different thing the way they do their stuff and the way they treat their people. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just the women are treated differently, and the men have a certain way that they are. So I imagine that some of the questions in the film, and we talked about this when you were on last time, is that it does broach, the film does deal with the relationships and people and how they are where you are from originally, and how you came here to the United States. So I imagine that would be extremely difficult because you probably have to explain a little bit to people. But it sounds like they got the whole premise and the humor and the seriousness. They got it all, right?
Yeah, it was really hard dealing with people who, some of them have a little bit of ego, some of them have a little bit of habits from their country on set, and all of them are respected to me. I could understand, but they couldn't understand each other sometimes.
Yeah.
Because a reaction on set from one person from another country means something else to another person.
Yes. And
we had
humor.
we had all of this.
Yeah, I'll tell you that's a good. That kind of makes it as a director. I imagine that you have to be so hypersensitive to dialogue is dialogue, okay. But if an actor's either sad or funny, it can be conveyed. However, what people's how they take humor, especially, is sometimes vastly different in one culture than it is another. Like if you watch Hispanic or some of the TV shows you see that they do, I'm like looking at this going, wow. And I was a professional clown, and I'm looking at this going, whoa, that's like clowns up there. And in America, if you had that, we would go, what is that? That's not funny. So I am again. It's a very difficult task, I imagine. And now you have even shared with me that working with the actors on set, having different people from all over the world, you got a tough job.
Yeah, but A part of this was behind the scene, which I had to deal with it every day. That's fine. But for the scenes, for shootings, I had to rehearse with them. I choose international body language, which is understandable for all people,
Yeah,
and I had to reduce those body languages, which means something in some languages,
sure.
was for us nothing. So I had to practice with those actors to reduce those one and replace it with another one. Or even in jokes, I had to find some specific jokes, and everyone in the world can understand it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, timing. I mean, I know as a comedian that it's a lot of times timing and a facial expression, but again, sometimes people will write. And they don't understand that the humor won't be understood. And look, I just say that from a standpoint of that I've traveled around the world doing my shows, my one-man show, and what might be funny here in America isn't funny when I did it in Brazil, or it wasn't funny, or as a keynote speaker, I'm speaking in Bogota, Colombia, and they're like, and I'm like, wow, that normally gets a really big laugh, and that gets a laugh. Responding to that should get a laugh. Point is that it's a very difficult thing. Let me ask you the next question. How difficult is it being a woman and having to deal with specifically having to deal with some of the male ego that is in this industry? Because let's be honest, women are in most cases, and they're getting better coverage on this, but they're not really respected or looked up to. People go, oh, that's the director, female. How are you dealing with that?
I can say it's something very ugly that we have to deal with it every day as a woman.
Yeah,
I'm from Middle East. I'm from Iran. Even in our family, in our relatives, in the society, go big, big, bigger and bigger. Every day we have to deal with those difficult and nonsense things. But if it comes to movie industry and you are a director, you want to tell things to those men. Sometimes I am the only woman on set,
wow.
and I have to deal with all of them. Many of them are respectful to me,
Oh, good.
but at the same time, they are men and they have their each other's back. Recently, I experienced something which is not good. They try to compete with me in a very bad way. Uh, for example, they tried to contact a place that invited me to working with. So they tried to contact them and say, "Hey, if you want a director from Middle East, we are here. She's a woman, And the person emailed them in a very, very beautiful way, and they said, "We selected her because of this, because of that, and because she's a woman. We
Yeah.
wanted a female director. Who are you?"
Wow.
Yeah, there are people just like this person who think different, but I have to deal with this. And I passed all those psychological process in my
Yeah.
country, because there are classes, there are workshops, how to deal with these things and how you can manage your crew, which are all of them are men and you are the only woman.
Yeah.
And I know how to deal with all of this. And there is something funny. I am a very impolite person, and back back then
I
I
don't know
couldn't
about that.
I couldn't even say a very bad word. But on my set, my assistant pushed me like this. Hey, you cannot be this much polite on set. You have to curse them. You have to say this. You have to say that on set. I said, "Oh my God, really?" He said, "Yes, you have to, because otherwise,
Yeah.
they not,
Yeah, no. And look, I totally get that, and I don't know if you'll understand this scenario, but I get it. Um, because you, in some ways, you have to sort of be a chameleon, and I hate to say it, and it's sad, but you have to be one of the guys. You don't seem to me, you seem to me that someone that if someone said, blah 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 blah, Miriam, blah blah, and you'd say, shut up, and you would say it politely. It seems to me that you would have good control over the situation. But let me explain that. Earlier in my career, I worked at a car dealership, and I did this specifically because I wanted to learn. This is back in the '90s, and I wanted to learn internet. And they gave me an office with a computer and so on and so on. And they knew I was very good at computer. But I did it specifically just so I could do this type of thing and spend all my days really getting to know what the internet was about, which has been very good for me. However, when you walk into a car lot, you know that you're going to see guys that are like with the shirts open down to here, and they're going to be machismo, and they're going to be like, yeah, they're telling jokes about women. And the only way that you fit into that is by playing into it and then taking control of the situation. So I get what your assistant says. It's a sad state of affairs that you would have to be one of the guys, but until you gain control, it's just it's a tough world, especially being a director. And you're obviously getting what you need out of the actors and the crew, but man, it's got to be tough.
Yeah, sometimes it's like, for example, I wanted to make a documentary about the only stone miles of henna. I don't know if
I
you know
don't.
what is henna or not. I wanted to make a documentary in that place, and the only worker who exists in that place was Iranian from Yazd. He didn't talk to women. He didn't let a woman enter to the place. So
Wow.
it was really challenging for me to drive 9 hours from my city to that place to convince him. But one day I was praying
Wait, what
because
was he? What was he? Is he an actor?
no, I wanted to make a documentary.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. I see.
Yeah. And,
So you drove there.
I am a person of faith. So one day I was praying outside the place. It was a traditional place full of dust and full of, it's not a place for women actually, but I was praying and he watched me through the window. He said, okay, come in.
Oh,
You
wow.
know, and I came in, I sat on the floor and I drank tea in his glasses, which was not clean, which he put tea for me and offered, and I drank that.
Wow.
And my crew were, oh, Mariam, you will die. I said, no, nothing. And you will make this documentary.
Wow.
And then he said, you are a woman, but you are somehow strange. Okay, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Well,
it sounds like it worked out.
yeah, because for them, working with a woman is something like, how it feels. But I know how to dress, how to, like, for example, when I want to go to these places, I usually wear coats which are very like this shape, and I don't wear it. I put it on my shoulder.
Wow.
It's a body language for
Yes.
men to,
Yeah. Yeah.
this is someone,
Yeah.
and I usually talk to them in a one line voice. You're an actor.
Monotone.
Yeah. They cannot understand if I'm angry, if I'm interested, what. And when they
That's
are
smart.
trying to figure out, I put this stamp on whatever I want.
Well, that's smart. I'll tell you really quickly a really quick story. When I was in Mumbai, the last day we were filming, up until that point, we were filming in some really very interesting places. But we went to a really nice hotel in India. Their 5-star, no offense, was probably like a 2-star here. But the point is that I remember going out to craft services, and I was about to do my big scenes, and they said, oh, Mr. Will, go here, get some food. I go back and it's like a construction site, and there's like five women in the back pounding on rocks, and they're making like naan or something like that. And then they go, here, have some food. I go, I just want a cup of coffee. And I got a really cool mug. It's a Disney India on it, but because it was a Disney production. But when I got it, the guy said, oh, hold on a second. And he reaches down with the cup and says, I need to clean it. And he reaches down and there's a puddle. And he takes the cup in the puddle and he goes like this. And then he takes his shirt, which was as filthy, and he goes, hold on. And he does this. And then they make coffee and he hands it to me. And I went, oh, hey, thanks a lot. I kept the cup, but there's your story about you actually drank out of that teacup. It's like, wow. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But
Yeah, this time it happened to me in India as well.
wow, that's yeah, and it's no offense, but and we briefly talked about this when you came back, and I said the same thing. But when I came back, I was like, oh, I did it. People kept telling me, when you go there, you're gonna get like, blah, blah, and you're gonna be like, blah. And I'm like, okay. And so I'm like, I came back. Week later, I'm like, I'm good. A week and a
Yeah.
half later, I wasn't so good. And I don't know whether it was Giardia or what it was, but it caught up to me. And you have to be very careful, especially, I hate to say it, in India. You got to wear, there's so much pollution there and so many cars and people are honking and those little taxis and a lot of stuff out there. Awesome people, though. Very, very, very kind people. Um, I just want to ask you, kind of finish up here. I kind of ask this all the time, and want to find out if you have any sort of pearls of wisdom or thoughts or passion that you kind of want to let the audience know about. By the way, if you're interested in following you, you can see the Instagram here. Do you have a website? Don't you? I should have that.
Yeah, actually, it's not updated, but I have it.
Oh, you don't have it up though.
Yeah, I have to.
Oh, we're not gonna tell people. So go to your Instagram, which is Miriam. I keep saying Permbet. Sorry, and
Yes.
check you out. Lots of great stuff. Any sort of advice to either actors or filmmakers or anybody? It doesn't even have to include film. It doesn't. You can tell us. Well, I think the best way to build a home is with wood. I don't know. Just give us any sort of thoughts that you have. Anything.
Everyone, I guess, as you said, everyone is a filmmaker. Everyone is a storyteller. At least they can tell their own story. Whatever God's power has, He put it in us. So one of them is creation, and one of them is storytelling. Everyone can tell this story, and everyone, actually, for me, everybody is an actor. Some of us worked and practiced. And I want to thank Jaipur International Film Festival. And, Jaipur International Film Festival is one of the biggest film festival concerning to people come to their, audience and filmmakers, and also the number of the films. This year, they wanted to have online and live screenings because of this COVID thing and visa problems, because the Indian government didn't give visa to many of the filmmakers. But when I got there, I said, oh my God, thousands of people are there every day. So it means that everyone got the visa. But an amazing crew, an amazing people, an amazing director, an amazing range of different films, and it's a wonderful experience for everyone who wants to network in film festivals.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we received this Yellow Rose Award for our film. I am really honored to be a part of those 9 members that they were, each year they have a tradition. Influential people are invited, like 7 or 9 people. Together they turn on the flame for the future of India. And really respected them because they invited me as one of these 9 people.
Wow.
I hope whatever I did so far in my life is, I really thank them. And for future, yeah, I have, as you mentioned, I'm working on 2 different scripts. One of them is a wonderful story which is related to LGBT.
Right.
Yeah, we're about to start it soon. In summer, I will work with another female director, which I love her so much because she is so passionate. We will have a horror story for summer, and there is an action movie that I'm invited as a director. The whole project is ready, and they just invited me as a director. I'm reading their script. It's will be in Mexico,
Right.
and it's all about as much as I can say, it's all about two of my movies, P6 and Silent. Do you know Rockle?
Yeah.
Rockling? The story is about that. That's why they invited me. Yeah, that's it.
Let me ask you really quickly on the LGBTQ. Is that a documentary or is it an actual film? Is it just dealing with? Can you say anything about that one?
Yeah, it's a feature film, and I received the idea from a friend, and I'm working on it. My POV in all my movies, my POV is a way that I never judge which is good, which is bad.
Sure.
I make a movie in a way that people can judge themselves. But now we are dealing with this subject in the world. I'm really affected by bad news is coming for LGBT people from different countries. Just like, for example, in my country, two beautiful mind creatures that wanted to marry 2 boys. One of them went to Turkey and begging for the other one, but the family killed the boy just because of this. And every day I'm receiving these news from different countries. Here in Los Angeles, I know many families that they even don't answer their child hello because it's not something beautiful. You have to accept whatever is inside people, which is beautiful. It's not something harmful for the society if you look at it in a proper way and in a beautiful, healthy way.
Yeah.
So
And
my
that's your
story
and
is
that's your
one.
job. And honestly, well, it's all of our job to do that individually and realize that our lives are our lives, and not to infringe our philosophies and whatever disapprovals on people. But now it sounds like that's your job in this next film. So I wish you a tremendous amount of luck, and I'm sure we'll have you on again. I really appreciate it. If you're interested in following Miriam Pirban on Instagram, just check it out right there. Follow her. Ask questions. I know you're open to any kind of dialogue about this stuff, and I'll have you back on again. You're awesome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You bet. Okay, everybody, don't leave me. I'm gonna say goodbye to you officially, but I'm just gonna close out the show right now. Give me 1 second. All right, everybody. Hey, thanks for hanging out on the show. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I'll be trying to do some other live stuff towards the week. Middle of this week, Thursday, Friday. I'm going to be in Arizona, so most likely won't be able to do this show. But I might just jump on my Instagram, which, by the way, is Will Roberts Official. Check it out. Go out there, be successful, and just be yourself and. Try to do something that helps others as well as it helps you. See you next time, and be safe, be well.